celebrate today the arrival of cozy season with a very full autumnal video. So today we're going to talk about all the autumn stuff. I have a mini book haul, all the books that are my must read list for this fall. So we're going to talk about some books, some movies to get us into the fall spirit and state of mind. Right? Before we start, disclaimers: school has just started back up here in France, so you might hear some kids screaming outside because I live in front of a school. I'm sorry for that. I will try to edit that out as much as I can. Also, I have sort of a cough, sort of a sore throat, so if I sound a bit weird, it's because of that, right? But without any further ado, let's get into it. Grab a drink because we're going to be here a while. I've got a caramel cinnamon latte here, and I thought, first of all, like, there is no drink that makes me feel the autumn state of mind more than a cinnamon drink. You know what I mean? So I made myself a latte, get cozy, and let's get started. I need to find a fall or spooky mug that I like, but I haven't seen any that I like yet. So I'm kind of waiting for the end of September/October, when I know that shops here will start to have like Halloweeny stuff, you know. So in the meantime, I'm just using my trusty IKEA mug because this mug is big. Maybe it doesn't look like it, but it holds a lot of stuff, so it's my favorite mug. I think there is no drink that screams autumn more than a cinnamon drink, right? Even in pumpkin spice lattes, there's cinnamon, and that's what makes them so good to me, because I just love cinnamon. I could put it anywhere. I love it, and it instantly brings me back to autumn. Like, you can give me a cinnamon latte in the middle of summer, in spring, it will bring me back to autumn. I have found this thing I'm about to show you last year at the supermarket here in France, and it just kind of changed my life because I love a good Starbucks. I feel like it isn't as common as it is in the US here in Europe, and there's a lot of anti-Starbucks vibes going on here in Europe, especially because when Starbucks first opened in Europe, the drinks were quite expensive for our standard, because like if you want to drink coffee, you just go to like a bar or a cafe or a coffee shop, and you will pay like €1 to €3 maximum, whereas the Starbucks are like €5 to €8. So as you can see how that played out. But nowadays, especially where I live in Paris, if you want to get a drink that is similar to a Starbucks, you will pay the same price for less amount of actual drink beverage, or you will pay the same price but it's not the same, like it's a less complicated, less flavored, less sugary drink than Starbucks. So now it's becoming more and more popular, but yeah, I made my boyfriend try a pumpkin spice latte like 2 years ago. He had never had a Starbucks before, he had never drank coffee, but since that moment we've been going going to Starbucks like all fall. Just bring a book, sit down, take a drink, and enjoy the vibes, And I feel like we've been trying all the specials, even like the Christmas specials, and I just love them. But I realized that something they all have in common is cinnamon, right? There's a lot of cinnamon in all these fallish autumnal drinks. So since I am a lover of cinnamon, I decided that I would need to find a way to emulate a Starbucks drink, but at home, to like spend a bit less money and save up. I also, something else you need to know about me is that I do not like coffee. You will never, ever catch me drinking an espresso. But I do like anything that's coffee flavored, so like lattes and desserts and cappuccinos. I love that, but you will never catch me drinking straight up coffee. So one day I was at the supermarket just looking for, those capsules you use for like a coffee machine, because at work we had coffee machines. So I was just looking for a Starbucks brew where then I would bring my own milk and make it into a latte. But I've tried a couple and it was too much coffee for me, because I'm a matcha and tea girly, okay, through and through. You will never catch me drinking coffee, as I was saying. So one day I went back to look for something else, and I found this. I found Starbucks instant coffee beverages, and this honestly kind of changed my life. So the first one, which is the one I am drinking right now while I film, is a caramel latte, and it says caramel and smooth, 100% Arabica coffee beans. So this is a pack of 6 instant coffee beverages. You just pour warm water onto it, you mix it, and it makes it into a latte. And this is a very basic version of a Starbucks latte, but it will still be satisfying for those sugary coffee cravings you may have. So I treat this as a sweet treat, or I drink it like for special occasions. Or when I want a dessert, but I don't want a full dessert, so I will drink one of these instead. But I don't drink it every day whatsoever. Also because I don't want to finish up my stock. I do not know if they still sell this at the supermarket. I have to go check, because if I have to survive through winter especially, I need these kind of drinks. And I need to be able to just make it at home, make it myself, because if I have to go out to a Starbucks and grab a Starbucks every day, or even just multiple times a week, I will just cry. So these come like this. It's sort of a powder inside. It's not sort of, it is a powder inside. It's an instant coffee beverage, caramel flavor, it says. And I added some cinnamon powder into my latte. instead of using warm water, I will use warm milk. Usually I use almond milk, and then pour only half of this so I can reuse the other half the next day or something, and the stock lasts longer, right? That one is the caramel one, but my favorite one of these is this. That's the cinnamon dolce latte. Cinnamon dolce latte, and it says warm and sweet, 100% Arabica coffee beans as well. Is my favorite one because of the cinnamon. Like, this is way more cinnamony than the other one, and I could honestly spend all day drinking this in autumn. Just like, it's dangerous. It really is. Here it is. Chef's freaking kiss. This one really actually reminds me of an autumnal special from Starbucks. It says instant coffee beverage with cinnamon and cinnamon flavor, so it's very cinnamony. And yeah, I love it, and I can't wait to drink some of these this autumn, but I only have 4 left. I'm sad. I really need to go check if they still sell this. Pray for me, please. It's very crinkly. Like, imagine drinking one of these autumnal drinks with a good book, a blanket, all cozied up in front of a fireplace that's crackling on the background. Please. Heaven. Okay, so those are the 2 drinks that I honestly, if you can find these at your local supermarket, I highly recommend. You will spend a bit less, save up on the budget, but still have those very seasonal Starbucks drinks feelings. I love them. And talking about seasonal things and cinnamon things, I recently bought a candle that is like my dream candle, and you will understand why. I went back to Italy to see my family recently, and we went to this shop that's called Action, that is becoming really popular in Europe. I think originally it's like a Norwegian or Swedish shop, but it's one of those shops where it focuses on interior design, hobbies, and decor, and they have really cheap stuff that is really cute. I saw some things that I couldn't buy at the moment because I didn't have space in the suitcase to bring it back home, but I do have one of these shops close by, close to my place, so the moment I came back I went there, and I, thank God, found what I wanted. So the first thing is actual, like it's a wooden stick. When you turn it on, it makes the sound of a crackling fireplace. This was such a good find. I really thought I wasn't gonna find it, but I did. I think it was like there was 2 left and one of them was broken-ish. So I'm so happy. We're just girls. We get excited about candles. Anyways, that was the first thing I bought at this shop and I cannot wait to use it. And then I found this plate. Please, how cute is that? It's shaped like a leaf. It looks kinda grayish on camera, but it's brown in real life. And it has these orange veins. And even the back is cute. I adore this. I cannot wait to use it to put like some candy, some desserts whenever I make cookies, or just muffins and stuff like that. Stamp. I remember seeing this in Italy and being like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. But I couldn't fit it in my suitcase. Plus it's delicate to just, travel around with. So I'm so happy I found it there. It's quite spacious, like it's as big as my head. And I feel like it will just add a touch of autumn, a touch of color also to our kitchen. So yeah, I got this plate. And then I found some random decor things. The first thing I got was this pumpkin. How cute is she? It's kind of brown glass. And there's a fairy light inside. So I need to put some batteries in so I can turn it on. And look. See what that looks like. But how cute is she? I love it. The golden stem. She is so cute. I don't know yet where I'm going to put this stuff. But this is so cute. Small pumpkin. thick, but like it's hollow, so it's very light. The white one is taller and slimmer. I think it's really cute. And then the tiny orange one, same, is hollow. But this one is my favorite because it's rounder. And it's very pumpkin-y. I don't know, like, even just the shape is very pumpkin-y. But yeah, I got this, and then I found 2 mushrooms. I figured out I have some trouble finding mushrooms, like mushroom decor stuff that I like, because usually like either it's a weird color or a weird shape. But these ones are like quintessential mushrooms. You know what I mean? Look at this. This is a mushroom. You know what I mean? When I picture a mushroom, it's either this or the red one with the dots. But that's dangerous. So that's all the decor I got. And I was really happy finding all of this. But that was all the decor I got. So let's move on. I got 2 books. If I say gothic fantasy duology, you all know which ones I'm talking about. Obviously. The Shepherd King duology by Rachel Gillig. And this obviously is on my must-read list for autumn, because I wanted to read them last year. I didn't get to them, so I finally bought them. So I have to read them. I have no excuse, right? So the first book is One Dark Window. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This is a gothic fantasy duology that is set in this very unique world with a very unique magic system that is linked to some cards, a deck of cards. So these are magical cards. Each card has a specific power and works in a specific and different way. And the world this duology is set in has been plagued by this fog that gives people illnesses. So we follow the main character, this girl who has been affected by the fog, and she decides to set out on an adventure to find a way to get rid of the curse, the fog. And in order to do so, she will have to collect this whole deck of cards. So it's a set number of cards, but they are very rare and very difficult to come by. And there's like different groups of people that are trying to get hold of these cards for different reasons. And that is basically all I know about this book, and I want to keep it that way. They are not long for fantasy books, and it's only a duology, so I'm really excited about this. I've heard really loving them and also describing them as this sort of gothic, eerie atmosphere. So that's perfect for fall. And then we have the second book, which is Two Twisted Crowns. Two Twisted Crowns. These physical copies are stunning. I am in love with the covers. And this is the second book, so obviously I know nothing about it. I don't want to know anything about it because it would spoil the first book. But I do know one thing, and it's that in this book we get multiple POVs, which we don't in the first book, so that's exciting. And I just saw one of my favorite ambience music channels on YouTube posting One Dark Window inspired ambience video. I'm so sold. Like, I don't need anything more. So yeah, these are the two books I've acquired recently that haven't been in the haul before, so I wanted to show them to you. I haven't really gotten around to doing my full book shopping yet, so we'll do that later when I have time to go buy books and film a haul. But these two just got in my mail. I cannot wait to read this. If you've read them and you've loved them, tell me what you love them about them. Convince me to read them ASAP without spoiling anything, so I got even more hyped up. Since we mentioned some books that I just bought, let me just walk you through my full TBR, kind of, but not really, because I've mentioned a lot of books that I want to read this fall in my anticipating new releases video, so I will leave that in the description box in case you haven't seen it. I highly recommend because it's packed full of autumnal reads and all the new releases that are coming out in the per months, so you should check that out. So I'm not going to repeat myself. I just wanted to, because those are all books that are on my must read autumn TBR, but I just wanted to mention some books that I already owned that have been published a while ago but I haven't read yet. Starting with romance, the first book I have here is a very popular author. And I know that at least two of her books are very autumnal. And this one, even just from the cover with these leaves, I don't know, it gives me the full vibes. I've been wanting to read this in autumn for like the longest while. I feel like I've had this for at least 2 years. When has this been published? It was published in 2023. So yeah, I feel like I've had it for at least 2 years, as I said. I probably got it right when it came out. I don't really remember, but this is the 7-year slip. The 7-year slip by Ashley Boston. Ashley Boston is a very popular romance writer, and she writes magical realism, which is something I absolutely love and adore, and I cannot believe it took me this long to read an Ashley Boston book. So let's say, my full short list. And this talks about this girl who one day finds a random man in her apartment. She goes like, what the hell are you doing here? And he goes, what the hell are you doing here? Because apparently that man had been living in her apartment 7 years prior. It's a great read for like deeper months, especially if you're not really into spooky reads and like horror, gothic literature and all of that. Then we have another, always talking about romance. We have a book that has been really popular, and like this whole series has been really popular, and I haven't started it yet. I plan to start it this September, but the book I want to read specifically in autumn from this series is the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. This book screams autumn, and I love all the autumnal covers. Like, I see a cover like that, I'm picking it up. It's not even a choice. It's like I am obliged to. I don't really have a choice. So yeah, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, I have to get to this fall, otherwise I will never. I actually started this like 2 years ago, the year it became popular. Yeah, it was published in 2023, so I think I started this when it became popular. But then I stopped because I was not in the mood for like a romance like this, so I stopped and I never picked it back up that year, so I have to do it now. Plus, if you've seen my September TBR video, you would know that I put the Cinnamon Bun bookstore on that. So then I will have to get to this once I'm back from my trip and I can fully embrace all the autumn vibes. There's a kitty cat on the cover, which I'm in love with. There's a cat on each cover of this, I think. But anyways, if you don't know what this book is about, it's book one in interconnected standalones contemporary romance, small town romance series called the Dream Harbor series. And this book follows a girl who inherited a cafe from her late aunt, I believe. So she quits everything and she moves to this small town that is like a seaside small town, inspired actually by Gilmore Girls. And she starts working at this cafe, but there's a bunch of things going wrong and she doesn't manage to figure out how to fix them and where it comes from. So the local farmer who brings the produce for the cafe offers to help out. And this is, from what I know, a small town grumpy sunshine romance. So you get that gossipy Stars Hollow vibe. And yeah, it's just a fluffy romance, quick read. So I can't wait to get to this, and also it's great to have this kind of books as, you know, a palette cleanser, because I feel like my fall is going to be very fantasy led, so I would need this kind of books to kind of break the cycle a bit. So that's another one on my short list for fall. And then books are always recommended as a tandem read. So I would like to do the tandem read, but at the same time I'm a bit intimidated by it, so I feel like I just need to rip the band-aid and do it this fall. And I don't know, I just feel like this kind of read is very autumnal to me, in the sense that it's a slow-paced, character-led, more of a character study kind of read. I'm talking about Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home, and Daisy Hates The Great Undoing. I'm especially excited for Daisy Hates The Great Undoing because I loved Daisy Hates, the first book. I liked it more than Magnolia Parks, that's for sure, and I almost rated it 5 stars. Almost. But if you want to hear my thoughts about it, you can check out my August reading wrap-up, which just went up on the channel. I will leave it in the description below as well. But yeah, I loved that book, so I can't wait to get to this. I feel like it's gonna be really fun to tandem read them. And this cover right here, I love the piratey vibes. I love it. If someone sees me in public reading this, I would love that for me, you know. You know how there are some book covers, you're like, I don't know if I want to read this in public, kind of thing. But this is just so fun, so unique. I love the art on these books. But yeah, I don't know anything, obviously, about these books. I only know that in Daisy Hates The Great Undoing, we get a POV that is kind of heart-wrenching, so I'm ready. Give it to me, you know. So that is Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home, which is kind of a junker, and Daisy Hates The Great Undoing, both on my short list for this fall. It's not autumn without some fantasy reads, right? So once again, I'm not going to repeat myself. The fantasy books that I'm anticipating the most are actually the new releases, so you can once again check out that video to get my full TBR. But some books I already own that are on my short list for this fall, so the must reads are, first of all, a book that is on my September TBR. I think I'm going to start reading this week, and that is finally V.E. Schwab's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I honestly do not know what took me so long to pick this book up. I think that I have such high expectations, and that kind of scares me because that can ruin a book, you know. So I'm trying to limit my expectations, but at the same time, like, I feel like I'm going to love it. I love V.E. Schwab's writing. I read the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy by her, and I feel like this is just right up my alley. This book talks about a girl who makes a pact with the devil to be able to live forever, but in return she accepts that people will forget about her. She meets someone, they look away, and they completely forget about her. So she's been living for like 300 plus years in this loop, and one day she finds someone who does remember her. And it sounds like it's set in different places. I believe there's a bit of historical, like France, there's a bit of Manhattan, so I love this for me. And I love to read anything historical or with a more like cultural background or academic setting. That is The Invisible Life of Attila Rowe. On my shortlist, probably number 1 on this shortlist. Another book that I want to read in full, also because of those academic sort of vibes, is Babel. Babel by R.F. Kuang. And I want to read this in autumn because it gives me like dark academia fantasy. You know, it's set in Oxford, and the whole fantasy system in this is that there's this academy, Babel, that controls the language. And so this book follows this person who wants to get into the academy, but once they are there, they realize that things are not quite as they expected. So the main character in this is actually a student at this academy, and this is set in Oxford in the 1800s. So tell me that is not dark academia fantasy. Like, if someone has read it, please confirm my ideas. But yeah, I really want to get to this. It's intimidating though because it's a huge book. It doesn't seem like it from this copy because like it seems like a regular fantasy, but it's actually a huge book. The font in this is so tiny. It's kind of intimidating, but definitely high on my TBR for this fall. So that's Babel. The last book on this shortlist will be The Rose. I don't know what happened with my voice. The Rose Bargain. The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. This book was actually put on my September TBR. Now, I'm not sure I'm gonna get to it because in August I didn't manage to do as much reading as I thought I would. As I mentioned in my wrap up, so I only read 6 books in August in the end, but I started a book that I wanted to read in August, the last day of August, so I'm currently finishing it up, and then I'm gonna start The Invisible Life of Attila Rowe when I should have been reading The Rose Bargain already. So I don't think this is gonna be read in September because I'd rather get to The Invisible Life of Attila Rowe first, because I'm more excited for that. But this is a romantasy that has been described as the series of books meets Bridgerton in a fantasy setting. So I don't need to know anything else. I'm sold. But yeah, this is set in the Regency era in England, where the season just began. There's a whole thing going on with bargains you can make with the fake queen of this kingdom, where you can trade something that you really need to be able to make it in society season with her bargain. So now her sister is trying to find a way to save her family. And at this year's season, the queen kind of created a competition, from what I understand, where the winner can win her son's hand, so the prince's hand. And so our main character, our FMC, tries to get the prince's hand because that would save her family. And also, I know there's a bit of a love triangle in this. So you know what I mean? Like, who doesn't love a good love triangle when it's well made? I do. I know I do. That's the Rose Bargain, and those are all the books on my physical TBR, books I already own that need to be read this fall. Okay, we are getting through this drink. I don't know how about you, but I'm loving every drop. I've been sitting here for a while talking to you, but we aren't done yet. I just wanted to give you some book recs and movie recs to get into the full vibes. So let's get into our recommendations. I'm not going to mention the usual books and the usual movies that you will find in every single one of these full videos, recommendations videos. I wanted to kind of bring you some books that I haven't seen mentioned a lot around, and movies that are quite underrated according to me and my humble opinions. So it's just 3 movies and 3 books. Let's start with the books, since we were talking about books. I don't own any of these physically, so let me do some Kindle tapping. Also, yeah, I need to dress up my Kindle for fall. That's why I removed all the stickers I had before. I don't think you've ever seen my Kindle with stickers, but I'm preparing my fall Kindle things. So yeah, but anyways, the first book I wanted to talk about is Drawn Together by Juliana Smith. I got the ARC for this on NetGalley. I am so excited. This was the first ARC I applied for that I already knew about, that I didn't find through NetGalley, but I saw via like the author's Instagram, and I was really excited to read this, and when I saw it was on NetGalley, I immediately requested it, and I got it and was so happy. So this is a You've Got Mail inspired contemporary romance set in New York City during the fall, and it features a children's book author and a children's book illustrator. It's a rivals to friends to lovers romance dynamic, and they have a 2-person's book club where he annotates her books. I'm sold. I don't need anything else. Also believe it's Grumpy Sunshine, and there's a lot of found family vibes in this as well. This, I feel like it's a new release that doesn't get talked about as much, and it deserves more hype, okay? I don't think there's any spice. I think this is a clean romance. So yeah, that's the first book I wanted to mention because I haven't seen it around much, and I think it's so fun and so cute, and it's gonna be a great time. So add it to your DBR, please, and thank you. The next book is a book by V.E. Schwab. It's a whole trilogy actually by V.E. Schwab, but it's middle grade books, and I think for that reason they aren't as popular, but I feel like it's books that you can read at any age. They are really fun, quick reads. The first book in this trilogy is called City of Ghosts, and it's set in Scotland. The second one is ghosts and filming this sort of TV show about it. And so it follows this girl whose best friend is a ghost, but her family doesn't know about it. And her parents are ghost hunters, so, you know, they are so fun, they are so cozy, so vibey, highly recommend. And the last book I wanted to mention is The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Mahorin, who is the author of the Serpent and Dove series. The Scarlet Veil is set in the same world, it's kind of a spin-off, but you don't necessarily have to read the Serpent and Dove series to get the full experience with the Scarlet Veil, but you might get something spoiled. But this one is a dark fantasy romance with vampires, and the book follows this girl who ends up, I'm not gonna say how she ends up in this like huge castle that's very haunted mansion coded. There's like ghosts floating around, but not everybody can see them and talk to them. The vibes are perfect for a Halloweeny, spookier sort of read, but especially if you're not into spooky reads and horror and stuff. Let's get into my movie recommendations to get into the full spirit. I kind of want to tap on this candle. First of all, let me just say, obviously, the ones that always get recommended, like your classic rom-coms, you've got Mail, When Harry Met Sally, and also movies like Dead Poets Society, TV shows like Gilmore Girls, obviously, right? But I wanted to bring you 3 movies that you may have never heard of, or never watched, or that are underrated in general, I think. So you can just add them to your watch list, because I think they deserve all the hype. So the first one is Mona Lisa Smile. So this movie features a lot of your favorite actresses, and the main character is played by Julia Roberts. Picture Dead Poets Society, but make it artsy and prep girly. Okay, so it's kind of the female version of Dead Poets Society, where Julia Roberts plays a professor who goes to this very conservative university. It's set in the 50s, and the professor Julia Roberts plays tries to inspire these girls, also through art, to just go after their dream, whether it looks like finding a husband, creating a family and running the household, or going to Harvard and study law, or become a doctor, whatever it looks like. She tries to inspire them to go after that, right? So that's why I'm saying it's very Dead Poets Society coded, because it's the same kind of like inspiring the younger generation kind of movie. So yeah, I think this is the perfect autumn movie to watch alongside all your other favorite ones. And next, I wanted to mention a movie that I feel like is popular. I've seen it countless times, but yeah, I think it still deserves more hype, and that is Good Will Hunting. Good Will Hunting is another one of those very inspiring sort of movies. It features Robin Williams, so you get the vibes right away just from that. And it follows this mathematician at this university who is teaching maths or physics, I forget, but he always puts, I believe, a maths problem on his board, on his door, and whichever of his students manages to solve the maths problem will get a prize. And at some point he puts solution to it, but no one knows who it is. No one steps up and says, it was me. So the professor kind of sets out in this quest to try to understand who it was who solved this very difficult problem, and he ends up putting more and more difficult ones, and no one can solve them but this one secret person, until he puts a problem, if I remember correctly, that he himself, as an experienced mathematician, doesn't manage to find the solution to. And this person does find it, and he ends up being the janitor, who is a college age guy but coming from a very poor background, and he kind of gets discovered as a genius. It's very wholesome, it's very autumnal, it's very warm. You know how Gilmore Girls is filmed in this very 90s warm cinematography kind of way. Same, the story is heartwarming, it will make you emotional, it will make you want to pick up maths, it will make you want to understand how maths works, and maybe even it will make you want to go back to school. I love a good Robin Williams movie. Yeah. And the last one I wanted to talk about is a movie from a director I love. I've mentioned this recently in a video that I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan. If I'm about to make you discover Wes Anderson, please leave me a fox emoji in the comments. That will make my day to know that I've initiated someone to Wes Anderson. Anyways, you've probably heard about the Grand Budapest Hotel, maybe the French Dispatch. Those I feel like are the most popular movies from Wes Anderson, especially the Grand Budapest Hotel. But the movie I'm about to, and obviously I recommend them, but the movie I'm about to recommend is Fantastic Mr. Fox. This movie is pure autumn in a bottle. If you can project this movie and blow it up, please do it. Watch it in like a crisp full moon, full night for maximum vibes. This movie is different from his other ones because it's animated, and it's animated in a very specific way, which, if you're curious about it, look it up because it's genius. And I don't know how many hours it took for this movie to come to life because of the way it's shot, but once again, it's a very warm, very orange movie, so it's perfect for fall, and it follows the adventures of this fox who swore to become like a good guy, but one day reverts back to his sneaky stealing ways. So then one day he's stealing at a farm and he gets stuck there, and so you follow his adventures trying to get out of this farm. Basically, it's hilarious, it's wholesome, it's cozy, it's everything you need on a full night. I love to put it on the background now while I'm maybe baking, cinnamon rolls, so that I feel like the smell matches the visual. Oh, it's so good. But yeah, that's a great movie to get into the fall spirit. And lastly, I wanted to recommend cozy games. If you, like me, are a cozy gamer, join me in playing these games because I'm obsessed. I play on my Nintendo Switch Lite. I have this yellow one. I haven't customized waiting to find the right things to put on there. But ever since I bought a Switch, I've become obsessed with cozy games. So the first game I want to talk about is the cozy management game. It kind of blew up recently. It's the Tiny Bookshop game. I think you've seen some of your favorite creators playing this game. It's a very bookish game, so obviously it blew up in the book community. This is a cozy management game where you play the character of a girl who decided to leave everything behind and move to a small town, a seaside small town, and she decided to open a tiny bookshop. So you've got your car, you've got your tiny mobile home kind of thing that is made into a bookshop, and you can go around town in these different locations. You have the waterfront square, the beach, the market, the flea market, the university, the cafe. Like, there's different events going on as well, like the weekly flea market. There's like orientation week at the university. There's also a castle ruin. Like, there's a bunch of cozy things going on, and it follows the season. I've just hit the autumn part of it, and it's very autumnal. The graphics are so cute, and they are very autumnal. And what you do basically every day, you decide where to go, and based on where you go with your bookshop, you will need to stock your shelves in a different way, because different people in different areas of this town will read different types of books, different genres, right? So every morning you can redecorate your bookshop, and each item you put in your bookshop actually helps you achieve a specific goal. Like, some items will bump the fantasy sales, some will bump the classic sale, some will make your customers more inspired, and therefore they stay longer, they look through the books longer, and they buy more, and stuff like that. And you stock your shelves based on where you're going, and then once you get to the place, you will have, well, different characters coming to you to talk to you. Some will kind of give you side quests of things to do or collect, or challenges like to sell X amount of classic books and stuff. And some will just come to you for book recommendations, which is the most fun part. I love this, because when you get to recommend books, it's not just random made up books, it's actual factual books that have been published and that exist and that you've probably read. Like, I recommended A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Twilight and Persuasion by Jane Austen, and what did I recommend recently? One Dark Window, Normal People. Like, there's all these real books, and it's so fun. So that is just the cozy management game. I usually play this when I'm catching up on YouTube videos, or I just have something on the background, or I just need a moment of brain rot kind of thing. But instead of scrolling, I play. So it makes me also, nurture my hobbies. Yeah, it's just like a light and fun game you can play. Now the next one. Now the next game. Drum roll, because this is my favorite game, my favorite cozy game of all times. describe this type of games, but it's a game that has a story, right? So each chapter you get like a full animated movie kind of thing to watch. Begins with this girl getting lost at sea, and she ends up in this magical island, and she finds out that this magical island has a curse going on, and she also finds out that she inherited a whole plot of land on this island with like a house and a farm. So this is a farming cozy game, but there's a whole story that you're also trying to work through. So it's also adventure based in that sense, but it's not quite open world. You will have different missions and side quests. The main mission is to help the island get rid of this curse and bring back, like, restore the balance in the magic system of this island. And to do that, you have to, gather different materials, talk to different people, find different magical creatures and mythical creatures and so on to talk to, and it will bring you to cross the portal to the Fey world. So at some point you will get wings, and then you will find different portals to different kind of Fey kingdoms. So it's so magical, so beautiful. At the same time, you have all of those like ordinary everyday tasks at your farm, like growing your produce and your flowers and, milking the cows and giving food to your animals and fishing. And you can sell stuff at the local market. In each season you will have different kinds of flowers and plants and fish in the sea, fish in the river, different kinds of quests, and you have side quests that bring you to kind of have different relationships with different characters. You can even date some characters and marry them, and each character will give you, by talking to them, each character will give you side quests to do to also advance on your farming levels and stuff. So it's very fun. So you can choose to play it just the cozy farming management way, or play the whole thing, which is obviously what I recommend, because then you get to the Fey world. You get to have all these magical creatures and magical insects, and you can make potions, and you can make like magical teas, and you can make all these things. You can forge magical stones. This game is so out of this world, honestly. Not intended as a pun. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it with all my heart. And I recently stopped playing because I got to a point in the Fey world where I was like, I need to take a break because I need to enjoy this. But wow, I love it. But it's so cozy. It's so cute. It's so wonderful. If you have a Switch, please, if you take anything from this video, let it be this. So yeah, that is Fey Farm. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope, as usual, that I made your TBR a bit longer. I hope that you enjoyed these videos. It was a bit of a different one, but I loved just going through all the triggers with these objects. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite autumn drink and movie, please, please, please. And let me know also the shortlist, your autumnal book shortlist. I hope you're going to have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you are. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, as usual, don't us in this cozy season. And I hope to see you in the next one. Keep dreaming.